everybody, this is Slyman. We're going to be taking apart the Swiss K31 bolt today. The Swiss K31 happens to be my favorite milsurp by far. I love the GP11, I love the 7.5 by 55 Swiss, I love the K31. It's a beautiful rifle, it's big, it's a straight pull, it's unique, 6-round mag, excellent stripper clips, an incredible bolt design. So we're just gonna take a look here at the bolt today, take this guy apart for you, and get it back together and let you see how it's done. So if you have a K31 and you need to do it, you can do that. Or if you're like me and you're just a mechanical geek, you take it apart for fun frequently. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is, this is called the firing pin mechanism right here. And a lot of people say, what's that key in the back for? Well, it's not a key, but I agree, it looks like one. So in this position right here, we are in firing position. So this is where the rifle is set to fire. You pull the trigger and this key will launch forward and the firing pin will hit the primer and release the bullet. This position over here is safe. Okay, so now we're on safe. Now we're on fire. Safe, fire, safe, fire. Okay, you get the point. So we're on fire now. We want to go in between the two positions. So I'm gonna back it out like that. See how we're in between? We're not in one or the other. That's gonna take off some tension, and we're just gonna pull our cam lever out, and see it kind of fell out already. So here's the cam lever. You'll want to make sure that there are no cracks up here or in the plug up here, or the, what's the word I'm looking for? The knob. So make sure on that. And cracked cam levers will be a big safety concern. So just make sure they're not cracked. The next thing you're going to want to do on the bolt assembly is you're just going to remove the bolt sleeve and the bolt, and by doing that you're just gonna pull back here like that and it'll just pull right off. It's not threaded or anything, it's just kind of weird. I find it easier to pull off while I'm twisting it. And then you're going to get the actual bolt out. So mine's kind of stuck. There we go. So here's the actual bolt. There's, see here, there's your extractor, nice and clean. And I still have the old Swiss grease on here. It's incredible stuff if you can find it, and I just use what they use because it's so good. So I keep the original grease on here. I think it's called Waffenbarek. Yeah, I think that's the right name. So I just have that on there. It's good stuff. It'll make your gun kind of look like it's powder burn, kind of has a black coat to it, but it's just the grease. So then here's the bolt sleeve, which contains the bolt, and the bolt actually, or the cam lever, slides through here, and this is where you get your straight pull action for the bolt. The reason why that's duct tape is I'm just covering my serial number for the video. So put that aside. Next, you have your bolt plug, which is, well, I guess I'll show you the whole piece in a minute. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to release tension on the firing pin mechanism. So we're just going to return this to the fire position like we had earlier. And make sure you hold it because it is under pressure. Now it kind of looks like a syringe, but all you need to do to get the rest of the bolt apart from this stage is to put tension on the spring and just pull the firing pin off. Pull the spring out, then your firing pin mechanism pops right out. Bolt plug, firing pin mechanism, spring, firing pin, bolt sleeve, bolt, and the cam lever. Try and fit these all in the frame. Okay. So there's all the parts to the Swiss K31 bolt. One more time, you have the cam lever, the bolt sleeve, the firing pin mechanism, firing pin, bolt plug, firing pin spring, and the bolt itself. You do want to make sure that your locking lugs aren't cracked or otherwise broken. That's a big safety concern, and those are the two real parts of the bolt I would only look at. Just your locking lugs and the little nub on the cam lever. So those are the two things I just make sure of, and odds are, I mean, they're not going to be cracked usually, but you just want to check that the first time you get it, or if you love to slam your bolt home, maybe you've done the trick, but these guns are pretty reliable, they shouldn't be cracked. Okay, so getting this back together, you're going to take your firing pin mechanism and your bolt plug, and you're just going to make sure, so this is where the cam lever goes in, and this is safe and this is fire. So we're just going to put it back into the firing position. Like that. Okay? Then you're going to get the spring and put it back on. And before I do that, take note of how the firing pin goes back on. You can have these little grooves and they just go right over these grooves. So you can go up, or you can put it back on below. Up or below. Up or below. I like to go up, put it on the upwards way, just because gravity is working with it. So put the spring on, and here comes the hardest part. And then you got to get tension on the spring so you can get your firing pin back on. So put tension on the spring, and just like that, got it back on. See how that works? It's just locked in over that piece. Alright, now you're going to want to put tension back on the spring. So pull it back and put it in between safe and fire, just like that, like we had it before. Simple enough. Put that aside. Grab your bolt and your bolt sleeve and just drop the bolt right back in there. Bloink. And you don't need to make sure these are lined up. See how these, see that? They're not lined up. Now they are lined up. It doesn't matter how they are right now. We'll fix it in a minute. But if you want to line them up right now, you can. Don't have to. Take your little assembly here and insert it back into your bolt. And just shove it up in there. And your bolt might pop out a little bit. You can just turn it until it pushes back in like that. Alright, so here's the important part. So we have our cam, this is where our cam lever goes back in. And now we're going to turn, this is also where the cam lever goes in. So you have that nub here and you have back here. Okay, you want to get those lined up. So the bottom of this part and this part are lined up. So bottom here and here. So what you want to do now is there needs to be a hole for the cam lever to go into, and basically how you do that is you get these lined up, and see lining up turns them. See how I'm turning it? As you turn it, that moves. So if you line it up, there's a hole in there. See it? See that hole? That is where this piece right here is going to go. So what you're going to do, so now that we're all lined up, you're going to insert your cam lever first, front through the back, and then take the front piece here and just make sure you get it in that hole. Nope. See how it kind of moved a bit? I'm just going to move it back like that. Okay. There, just like that. See, it's in the hole. Now, just to make sure it's all working, hold the whole bolt together and put it on fire. We're done. So that's the Swiss K31 bolt assembly. Pretty much, if you feel like you're not doing it right, you just want to make sure this is in between safe and fire. The spring has tension on it so you can take it all apart. Putting it back together, kind of want to do that exact same thing. And just reverse the steps. So that is the Swiss K31 bolt disassembly and reassembly. Thank you for watching, and if you don't have a K31, I highly recommend you try and pick one up. They are just incredible rifles. They're very accurate, they're very smooth, they're very fun, and they have a lot of history behind them. So just K31, definitely one of my favorite rifles ever produced, if not my favorite rifle. Definitely milsurp wise, but that's the K31 bolt. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. See if you can pick up the Swiss cross there. Yep. So hope you like that and have a good one. See you later.